Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm gonna show you how to run your scrapers or scrapy spiders or whatever code in the background using our experimental Python coding environment that I've created for you guys to being able to follow these online tutorials at the EPYCO channel in an easy way. So let's consider the very first example here. First I will just simply write some code, and first I'll run this in the main thread, and then I'll use this run in background button so you would see what's gonna happen then. So let's import the time module here. So I say import time and make a simple loop. I say for I in range from 0 to 5, and here we want to say time.slip, and we slip for 2 seconds, and here we simply can say print we'll say, I don't know, hello, and actually our I. If I just regularly run this code, it would take quite a bit of time to execute, because it would sleep for 2 seconds, actually 4 times here, so it takes some time, and after it would actually return the output. But it's not really that great for user to wait until this happens. So there is from now on there is a new opportunity to do this in a background. But when we're dealing with some sort of a background code execution, we need actually to write our output to file instead of printing it to stdout. So we can simply say with open, and I encourage you to name this file actually as background.txt, because it's handled automatically in regards to cleaning up the file if terminated process or whatever. So here we use this a as far as we want to append new lines to our file, and here call this variable as log. So here we can simply say log.write, and here hello plus as far as we're writing, we need to use some string concatenation, so we need to stringify our I here, and also add a new line at the very end. And if I now just click this run in background button, nothing happens kinda here, so the main thread is free, but the background this code is executed in the background. And now the reasonable question is actually how to keep track of the output of that code. So here is the tip. So we can grab this kind of code, and the only difference is, well, this is actually used for SCRAPY logging, but we'll alter it a bit in order to see what's going on in our background.txt file instead of the background.log. So if we just execute here this file, we see that the script has already kind of terminated. Well, because as far as I was talking, it was actually working, so it's kind of terminated at the most. But let me show you this in a live mode. So if we just run this stuff in the background again and go here and just execute in the code, I see that it would be dynamically appending to the output whatever is happening there. Okay, so this is kind of it. Now another stuff here to consider is actually we just well, we can kill the process, of course, but now no process is run because that process was already finished. Let's just try to run this again, and we see that something is going here, and now we can just try to kill the process. Okay, and if we just execute this command one more time, we see that the process was killed. So this is quite useful when we're dealing with the big spiders, when we realize that there is something wrong there, and we want just to terminate the process. So that's the button. The kill process is useful when you want just to terminate the background process that is running there. So, well, that's kind of it basically. And now let me show you how to work with the real scrapy spiders basically. So here I'll be using the code from one of my previous tutorials, actually, like Python scrapy proxy rotation. So I will just grab this code from GitHub. You can see this link here available in public, and if I just simply delete all this stuff and paste the code, I also want to change the URL to test URL here. And first what we need to do, so as it suggests us in the console, so some little hints here, so we need to copy this a couple of lines, so just simply say copy here and paste them just before the class definition. So paste this before spider class definition. Here is the spider class definition. So here we did import our login stuff. And now in order to make use of login within the spider itself, we need to replace all the print statements with this sort of construct. So we can simply say self.log and whatever we want to log. So I just want to log, say, the proxies that we're supposed to be working with. Okay. And also after making a successful request to the particular URL endpoint, I just want to print self.log and response.text. So we would be able to see the output of each particular successful proxy HTTP request. Well, that regards this particular kind of code. So now let's try to do exactly the same thing. So I just run this code in the background, and then I go to another tab, and now just change this background txt to background.log and execute. And see that it already scrolls to the very bottom of the console, which is pretty nice. So here we had actually, okay, so even more. So we already have it. So here we had our proxy list, and then he made a couple of requests. Okay, so this was the last one. So let me just execute this one more time. Okay, so this kind of log is now being updated dynamically. So we have this kind of IP. Okay, is this different? Okay, so this was like, okay, now this is a bit different. Okay, so it kind of makes all these requests one by one. Now he didn't succeed to make a request. So as far as we watching this file background.log, which is being kind of generated dynamically within the background process where our spider is running. So here we can actually see the output. So from now on, guys, basically we can use our SCRAPY spiders with absolutely no restrictions. The only thing I kind of wondering about is kind of what happens if you would invoke a couple of so if you would be running asynchronous background code in many tabs, well, probably they would be overriding each other, because I didn't yet specify, I didn't kind of implement multiple tasks, because, well, this kind of environment is used more like for educational purposes, not for you know, like production or something like that. So just in order to demonstrate how this works. So, well, I hope that kind of makes sense for you guys. So feel free to test this out, to play around with this kind of stuff, with writing your code in the background and stuff like that. And basically this is it for this video. So until next time, and take care.